people need nature to thrive. Conservation International is founded on a really simple principle. Saving nature really is about saving ourselves.
CI helps governments, businesses, and communities make smart decisions about our future.
People are part of nature. Protecting the ecosystems and the habitats is protecting our human heritage and our culture.
We can't exist without nature being healthy.
Conservation International works with governments because governments are really able to do something at scales that matter to the entire planet.
With the ever-increasing population, food scarcity will become an issue into the future. We as a government have a strategy with Conservation International to manage it properly.
One of the hallmarks of CI is that it's willing to work with many partners in the business sector to see that our products come from sustainable sources.
We can transform the way we produce and transform how we grow and prosper.
At the end of the day, people who live closest to nature are the best protectors of nature. We need them if we're to make conservation sustainable.
As Native Hawaiians, we grow up understanding that we're oceanic people, and that kind of knowledge needs to be respected and utilized in modern management. In fact, really that, alongside of science, I believe is the real key.
Our mission is ambitious. We're willing to take on the tough questions. We're willing to stand up to have our voice be heard. We are in this really narrow window on our planet where we can see what's coming down the pike, and we still have a little bit of time to do something about it. Why wouldn't you want to be right here?
Hello and thanks for joining. Sabrina and I are incredibly proud to be a part of Conservation International and excited to show you some of the work that's been happening around the world to protect the planet. If the past year has taught us anything, it's just how vital and essential that work is. A pandemic, unprecedented storms, record-breaking heat. 2020 proved that we must create a healthier relationship with nature, and it's emphasized that we do so in a way that advances racial justice. It's good to see the world is finally recognizing this fact. Businesses have pledged to invest in nature, governments have pledged to cut their emissions. But words aren't enough. They must be followed by urgent and immediate action. We're running out of time and we must do everything we can to save nature and ourselves before it's too late.
Absolutely. Today, we're at a turning point. The pandemic is far from over, but many of us can finally see some light at the end of the tunnel. Now, we have a choice. We can either go back to the way things were, or we can charge a new path forward, one that atones for racial injustice and builds a regenerative global economy. Of course, we can't do all of this on our own. We will need to work with businesses. We will need to engage governments. We will need to partner with Indigenous and local communities. We will need to build an entire movement of people, for people, and Conservation International has been leading the charge. From our partnerships to our field programs, we're uniting people around the world to take action and create a better future. Over the next hour, we want to show you what building this movement looks like. We're thrilled to show you some of the many ways that people and nature can thrive together.
You'll also hear from one of the most inspiring voices on our planet. Our keynote speaker will be His Royal Highness, Duke of Cambridge. And thank you for being here with us. First up, our CEO, Sanjayan. Take it away.
Thank you, Sabrina and Idris Elba, for that kind introduction and for being here with us today. And thank you to all of our gala sponsors, and in particular, our chairs, Jody and John Arnhold. Jody and John, you've been sponsors and supporters of our gala before, and thank you for chairing this gala. And thank you, of course, to all of you, our community of supporters, for being here, for devoting an hour of your life, of your time, to be here with us, to be part of this community. Honestly, none of this, our mission, our organization, would be possible without your guidance, your friendship, and your support. Look, the last 12 months have been incredibly difficult for all of us. But if you needed a reminder of the importance of conservation, all you had to do was look outside, was to look around. From a global pandemic that was really spurred by tropical deforestation and illegal wildlife trade that crippled our economies and impacted virtually all of our lives, to the impacts of climate change now right at our doorstep with fires and droughts and catastrophic storms with increasing frequency. Nature is reminding us that we need to take care of nature in order to take care of ourselves. The science on this is absolutely clear. We have a decade, now I would say 9 years, to really get this done at scale. If we want to change the trajectory, if we want to jolt our planet onto a better trajectory, a more sustainable path of repairing and healing our planet, we've got to act now, act with urgency, act with boldness, and bring solutions at the scale of the problem itself. That's why at Conservation International we are redoubling our efforts to protect the most carbon-rich ecosystems on Earth. Places like tropical forests, of mangroves, of marshes like this, places that are rich in what we call irrecoverable carbon. Protect them in order to lock up or trap about 3 gigatons of carbon dioxide. We've set our sights on doubling the amount of oceans under conservation management and protection, about 18 million square kilometers of ocean around the world. And in key places around the world, places rich in biodiversity, we want to bring about what we call planet-positive economies, economies where people and nature can thrive side by side. Now we have to do all of this guided by the best available science and technology, and we have to be very creative in how we use the carefully raised funding that we have in order to make those dollars work much harder, to double, to triple that effort, and to bring about the maximum amount of leverage that our private philanthropy can bring. We need to be part of a movement. We can't do this alone. We need allies. We need indigenous peoples and local communities. We need businesses. We need governments. We need the non-profit sector. We need all of you. We need people of color. We need the LGBTQ movement. We need to be part of one grand movement who recognizes and understands the value that nature provides and brings to all of our lives. Because we're all in this together, and we really can't afford for anyone to sit this out. Now it's my really great pleasure to introduce to you a great ally of conservation. His Royal Highness the Duke of Cambridge has devoted his whole life to conservation. As the patron of the Tusk Trust, he is focused on protecting key species around the world, of ending the illegal wildlife trade, of focusing on community-led conservation in Africa and other parts of the world. He has a real talent, a real knack for bringing governments, for bringing the private sector, and bringing the conservation community together to search for shared solutions to shared problems. And last year he launched his most audacious effort yet, the Earthshot Prize, of which Conservation International is a proud partner. The Earthshot Prize aims to celebrate and promote the most breakthrough innovations, the great leaps that we need in order to heal our planet. Please welcome Prince William.
Thank you, Sanjan, and hello everyone. I'm very glad to be able to speak to you all today. As supporters of Conservation International, you know all too well that this decade presents humanity with one of our greatest ever tests. If we do not act decisively in the next 10 years, we will cause irreversible damage to our planet. This damage will not be felt equally by everyone. It is the most vulnerable, those with the fewest resources, and those who have done the least to cause climate change, who will continue to be impacted the most. But rather than being despondent about these challenges, let us instead take our lead from the many millions of young people around the world who have made this cause their own and say that enough is enough. All of us, across all sectors of society and in every corner of the globe, must come together to fundamentally reset our relationship with nature and our trajectory as a species. I truly believe that humans have an extraordinary capacity to set goals and strive to achieve them. The remarkable development of the COVID-19 vaccine in record time is a case in point. That is why I founded the Earthshot Prize. Over the next 10 years, the Earthshot Prize will incentivize, reward, and scale solutions and innovations to solve the greatest environmental challenges of our time. We've set 5 ambitious goals for the end of the decade: protect and restore nature, clean our air, revive our oceans, build a waste-free world, and fix our climate. We want to find the brightest minds and boldest ideas that will help us to achieve these Earthshots. But it will require our collective energy, determination, and optimism to get there. I'm delighted that Conservation International, along with so many other brilliant organisations and leaders who are also here today, have joined as partners in this shared mission. This is a global team effort, and it needs all of us if it is to succeed. Together, we must unite every business, every community, every government, and every person around our common goal to repair the Earth. I hope that wherever you are in the world, whatever your background, beliefs, or politics, you can join in this shared optimism for the future and conviction that change truly is possible. Together, I'm confident that we can begin to heal our planet, protect nature, and improve lives for billions of people today and for generations to come. And now we're going to hear some inspiring stories from around the world that will shine a spotlight on the challenges and opportunities we face.
Thank you, Your Royal Highness, for those incredibly inspiring words. We look forward to working with you and your team in the coming years on our shared mission of protecting nature for people. At Conservation International, our work in the field, on the ground, takes so many different forms. Whether it's a community partnership or whether it's working with women's empowerment, the work in the field is always creative, always solution-oriented. Look, one of the great pleasures of my work, my life, is to travel and see some of our projects, to meet the people on the front lines of conservation. I hope you've had the chance to do that as well. But the last 12 months has really not afforded me much chance to get out there. So now we're going to bring some of those stories to you. We're going to go around the world and show you some of our work to meet the people on the front lines of our mission, of front lines of conservation, who are working to protect some of those most amazing places, always using creative solutions at scale to deliver resilient, long-lasting results. First up, it's a story of community-led conservation in the Brazilian Amazon, the world's largest tropical rainforest.
I came to the Amazon with my grandparents when I was 5 years old. And all the memories I have from my childhood are full of green, bird songs, humidity, and heat. Everything that awakens a child's senses. Surrounded by the forest, I dreamed of becoming a biologist. And at 17 years old, I went to college to study science, where I discovered my love for primates and with them my vocation as conservationist. I earned a master's degree in animal behavior and a doctorate in animal biology, always focusing on the conservation of neotropical primates and their importance to the forest. In 2014, I joined the Conservation International Brazil as a project manager for the Amazon and learned that to keep the forest standing, there is a fundamental element with the same important role as biodiversity: people that live in the nature. The Tapajós region is in the heart of the Amazon. Here, the river is the size of the sea, and it's sacred for the communities that have lived here for generations. It's where they get their food and medicine, how they travel, where they take their leisure, and where they practice their culture and religion. In return, they are guardians of the forest. In the Tapajós region, Conservation International's Sustainable and Resilient Tapajós project supports the people living in 3 national forests, Tapajós, Trairão, and Itaituba I. Our goal is to strengthen the supply chains of timber and non-timber products and the governance of local communities inside their own territories. But these people who have thrived in the Amazon for generations, why do they need our help? They face many threats. Illegal timber extraction destroys the forest. Even worse, illegal mining destroys the forest and puts poisonous chemicals like mercury into the river, making people here extremely sick. Their livelihoods, culture, spirituality, and health are all intimately connected to the forest and the river. The past year, COVID-19 pandemic has made life even more challenging here. Many people and many leaders have had COVID, and our health systems cannot keep up. Conservation International has supported every way we can, preparing food baskets and masks to help the communities. And there's more. While you may have heard about fires in the Amazon, you may not have heard that in recent years. Indigenous people here have been threatened, attacked, and killed for trying to protect the forest. The message is that anyone working to conserve the Amazon should give up. But I have hope. The people and the forest are strong and resilient. This place is so beautiful and so critical. People have awakened to the importance of Amazon for a stable climate. We are supporting these communities, and together we will overcome. I want to leave with you this image, that this forest is made up of life, plants, animals, fungi, but especially people. There is no way to think about conserving the forest if we don't put people at the center of this discussion. I am so proud of the work that I do for people in nature. This is my purpose of life and is what I love to do.
Aloha, I'm Aulani Wilhelm, and I'm privileged to lead Conservation International's efforts to protect and conserve our global oceans. At Conservation International, we believe in equity for both people and nature because we're part of nature. Nowhere is that more true than our oceans. The ocean is the origin and engine of all life on the planet. It drives all living systems on Earth. Yet we've poisoned it, emptied it of fish, made it warmer and acidic. No matter the ocean, the shoreline, the community, the stories of decline and struggle against the confluence of impacts from climate change, pollution, plastic, and our insatiable demand for seafood, even in the healthiest of places, are the same. But so are the stories of hope. Less than 4 months ago, 250 people on one of the most remote islands in the world made history. The tiny island community of Tristan da Cunha committed to protect nearly 700,000 square kilometers of Atlantic Ocean forever. Their commitment to sustainably utilize only 10% of their marine waters while setting aside 90% from extraction in service to the planet and humanity is nothing short of heroic. Roughly twice the size of the Great Barrier Reef, this area will become the largest marine protected area in the Atlantic and one of the largest in the world. Now, bigger isn't always better, but when science tells us that the world needs to conserve a minimum of 30% of the global ocean by 2030 to have a fighting chance against climate change, size matters. Around the world, we're engaging governments to protect their national seas. We're working with businesses to improve fishing practices to ensure they're both environmentally and socially responsible. Importantly, we're partnering with local communities and Indigenous peoples like my own to protect places where deep kinship relationships with nature remain, to learn from the wealth of wisdom and help the world navigate the challenges we face together on planet Earth. But it's not just about taking action. We also need to build a global culture, one defined by shared values of caring and compassion for both people and nature. In 2014, we launched our Nature is Speaking series to help the world understand our relationship with nature. We started by asking a simple question. If nature could speak, what would it tell us? With help from prominent environmentalists like Harrison Ford, Lupita Nyong'o, and Reese Witherspoon, we gave nature a voice for the ways that it's been mistreated. And we shared a simple powerful message. Nature doesn't really need people, but people will always need nature. Today, we're proud to bring you the latest video in our Nature is Speaking series, narrated by a fellow Native Hawaiian, Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa. It's about one of the most powerful, relentless, and inspiring forces on our planet, waves.
Wave. I am the wave. The love child of water and wind, sun and moon. I move energy, nutrients, life. I move you. I've captured your imagination since the beginning of time. You honor me. You chase me. I am a symbol of something wild that exists in you. But lately, it's I who feel wild. Choked by your trash, overheated by your pollution. It makes me sick, makes me lash out. Don't you know I can decimate you? What do you think I can do to your currents, your coastlines, your climate? My requirements are simple. Stop stripping the forests that keep my water clean. Stop filling the atmosphere with dead carbon. And keep your plastic to yourself. Work with me now, before it is too late. I'll keep coming. I am the wave.
We're helping to improve the health of our waves in key hotspots across the globe. So we've joined with natural yet overlooked allies, surfers. After all, more than 75% of the world's best surfing waves are found where nature is abundant and healthy. That's why we created the Surf Conservation Partnership. The partnership is measuring the economic benefits of surfing and protecting some of the most important surfing spots on Earth. Our next video takes you to the front lines of this work. It's an up-close look at how creative thinking and a love for surfing is helping people and nature thrive together. There's a moment, you know, when you're catching a breaking wave, when you're no longer just on the water. You become part of it, part of the wave, part of the ocean. And it's natural to be protective of the things you are part of. This is something surfers and ocean communities around the world understand. Like on the island of Morotai in Indonesia. Here, residents enjoy some of the world's most intact marine and coastal environments, and a deep local surfing culture flowing from Morotai's world-class waves. And it's here that the Surf Conservation Partnership is supporting local communities and government to create the first in a global network of surf-protected areas. Using waves as an anchor, surf-protected areas preserve the surrounding marine and coastal ecosystems, including irreplaceable coral reefs, mangroves, and coastal forests. Morotai is the first major project for the Surf Conservation Partnership between Conservation International and Save the Waves Coalition. All over the world, the best waves break in marine ecosystems in critical need of protection. Threatened by climate change, habitat destruction, pollution, and unchecked development. The solution lies with people who love the ocean. In much the same way that hikers form a powerful constituency for the protection of terrestrial wilderness, and divers do for coral reefs. The world's 35 million surfers and growing can do the same for coastal ecosystems. And this doesn't just mean tourists. The people of Morotai know better than anyone that the ocean that supports their way of life is under threat. Working with the Surf Conservation Partnership, they're implementing legal regulations to curb overfishing, protect reefs and forests, control plastic pollution, and sustainably manage coastal development, all around the island's best waves. And now the Surf Conservation Partnership is working to link these individual conservation areas into a provincial level surf protected area network, covering 30 miles of coastline with the full endorsement of the local communities and government. This network of surf protected areas will form the foundation for sustainable economic activity and surf tourism, centering on the needs of the local people and safeguarding the environment that provides for them. Surf protected areas are also cultivating the next generation of surfers, with a special emphasis on empowering women and girls in the local community, building their confidence to both swim and surf, and inspiring them to own the economic opportunity created by surfing and conservation. This is what makes this partnership so exciting, protecting an environment and a way of life while providing a sustainable economic future. The Surf Conservation Partnership is the first effort to deeply engage and leverage surfing's global cultural and economic reach to create a worldwide network of surf-protected areas. For all of us, whether you're a surfer or not, this is a powerful new way to expand conservation to some of the world's most critical and endangered areas. And with the success of the Morotai pilot, we are expanding to other parts of Indonesia, to Fiji, Costa Rica, and more. By the end of 2025, the goal is to protect over 2.5 million acres of the world's most intact marine and coastal ecosystems by establishing surf-protected areas all over the globe. And right at the center will be the world's best waves, along with passionate, committed people who know what it means to find freedom in the ocean. We're starting with Morotai, but that's just the beginning. Catch you on the next wave.
Environmental issues are fundamentally about economic issues, a fact the last year has made painfully clear. When the pandemic swept across the globe, tourism in the Masai Mara region of Kenya ground to a halt. The consequences were devastating. Incomes disappeared. Schools and health centers shut down. Poaching increased. And without tourist revenue to pay their expenses, conservancies wondered if the land they leased for wildlife tours would be sold or converted to agriculture. After all, you can't expect people to prioritize wildlife over putting food on the table. That's why Conservation International helped to establish the Masai Mara Rescue Fund, which covers lease payments from conservancies to the indigenous landowners. What this means is that despite the pandemic, people can still provide for their families without destroying nature. It's an important reminder that if we put the right economic incentives in place, people and wildlife can thrive together. That's equally true for the Riteti Elephant Sanctuary in northern Kenya, about 500 miles away from the Masai Mara. As Africa's first community-owned elephant orphanage, it's a source of refuge for young elephants and a source of empowerment for the women who work there. These young Samburu caretakers, they're the first indigenous women in Africa to work as elephant keepers. Their efforts aren't just helping to provide for their families, they're also inspiring young girls in the community to pursue this new career path. Award-winning National Geographic photographer and filmmaker Ami Vital spent the last 5 years filming this incredible story of unique bonds between the caretakers and the orphaned elephants at the Riteti Elephant Sanctuary. She tells the story by focusing on one special elephant named Shaba and her relationship with the keepers. The film was directed by Ami, edited by Passion Pictures, and made possible with the generous support of Don Arnell, as well as Nick Southgate, John McCormack, and Dave Matthews. We hope you enjoy this inspiring and personal glimpse into the ways that our lives and livelihoods are interconnected.
In the Matthews Range of northern Kenya, a Samburu community is doing something that has never been done before. They've built a sanctuary for orphaned elephants called Riteti. It's a place that is changing attitudes about elephants, and it's changing attitudes about women too. But to really understand the success of Riteti, then you need to know the story of one special elephant. Her name is Shaba.
Jerk 99, this is Romeo 1, how do you read over?
The moment Shaba came to Riteti, that was the beginning of the journey. It was a very big animal, almost 1 year.
Shaba has witnessed the death of her mother being shot by the poachers.
When Shaba arrived, she was not friendly with us. She was very traumatized. Shaba, go. Stop, Shaba.
So that we can give Shaba a bottle of milk, we made piles of tires.
Shaba, go. Stop. Naughty.
And we can go inside the tires so that when Shaba knocks the tires, she cannot harm anyone. And after a week, she accepted the milk.
Winning Shaba's trust brought important knowledge on how to raise the orphaned elephants. With Shaba, they were able to perfect their milk formula, and she showed them just how much love and care was needed for these young animals to heal.
Good. You look cute now.
It is so sad to see them when they are suffering.
They become down, they become skinny. I have to become their mother. We sleep with them during the night. We sing to them, Suborishata, Eyal Gololdomne, Eya Sanangul Ngede, Eya Laribabanga, Eya Suborishata, Eyal Gololdomne, Eya Tawabujava, Eya Meneyolgin.
Keeping the baby elephants alive was not the only challenge. Somehow, the orphans were going to have to band together and become a herd, like you might find in the wild. no one knew how they could make that happen.
Elephants can guide us the way. As Samburu, the elephants are our heritage. Our grandparents, they tell you, follow the elephant.
And it is an elephant that has shown them the way. What the keepers needed was an elephant mother to lead this group.
The moment we receive young baby here, Shaba just took that role to be a mother.
With this matriarch to guide them, and to teach them, the group stepped into line.
Sweet babies.
With Shaba's help, Riteti has nursed over 30 orphans back to health. Word of the success was spreading through the valley and beyond. And the Samburu women were beginning to be seen in an entirely new light.
Before this, our community thinks that we cannot do this hard work to change a wild animal. They come to realize a mother knows how to care for a small baby more than a man.
Now my daughter can know that my mother has done this, so I can do too.
We are helping these babies, but it is really these elephants helping us. See you tomorrow.
Despite the success, the most difficult tasks still lay ahead. To really fulfill their mission, they need to get the elephants back to the wild. Even though Shaba is just 4 years old, yet again, she is leading the way.
I know I will cry, not only today, even tomorrow, but we can't deny her the right to go back to the world.
To introduce elephants this young back to where they came from is unique to this project. If Shaba and her adopted brothers are to have a good chance at surviving in the wild, they will need to join up with a wild herd. Now, all the team can do is monitor the elephants.
I think they are communicating with the wild group. They can hear, they can pick the sounds from their food pads. They can feel it from the ground. So I know that they are communicating. So they might meet each other. They are together. All of them, Shaba, Limwezi, Sosia. I'm very excited. Very nice.
Now I am proud. We have done our work.
I know she will be safe in my heart. Shaba will live long life. Shaba will have children, which will make me be very proud and happy.
Back home, a new orphan has arrived.
You can see actually, let me even start from the...
But there is no Shaba to look after him. Shirai thinks she is up to the task.
Hey,
We were worried that who will take over. And Churai has just stepped up and she's the matriarch, she's the boss. You've seen Churai going down on her knees. That is an indication that she's ready to pump on anyone who will touch the little one.
And that's a good mother.
Shaba has changed the life of many people.
She is very determined animal. She is very strong. She is very courageous. Shaba is my role model. Shaba has always been a leader. And she's a female.
Hey there, Dr. Chase, can I borrow your wings to fly above the elephants? Maybe ride the wind over the mother of Africa. The mother of Africa. Oh, hey there, Dr. Chase, can I borrow your eyes to watch over the elephants? I watch the sun rise above the mother of Africa. The mother of Africa. Little tea, little bile, it's only more.
From our forests to our grasslands to our oceans, Conservation International is building a movement. We're proving that nature is the key to addressing our most pressing challenges. Our research has produced transformative insights, our partnerships have pushed others to take decisive action, and our field programs have helped people and nature to thrive. All of these efforts are helping to slow the pace of climate change, protect our oceans, and build nature-positive economies. Now we need to redouble those efforts, because time is not on our side. We have only a few years left to avoid the worst case scenarios for biodiversity and climate. We must create a more sustainable relationship with nature, and we need your help.
When we ignore science, we all pay a tragic price, but when we invest in it, we can accomplish incredible things. We can create life-changing vaccines, we can avoid the world's impacts of climate change, and we can stop the reckless destruction of nature. Science is the basis for everything that we do at Conservation International, and it's the fuel that drives our movement and will be the key to solving our environmental problems. But we can't solve these problems without your support. Please help us to build the movement. Make a donation, can help us invest in programs, sharing our work on social media, will help us expand our reach. Together, we can realize our potential to protect nature and nature's potential to protect us. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for helping to create a better future. Cheers.